No? Save, don't save. Are we live?
It seems so, yeah. We have the live
okay.
tech here. There's this labeled like we are live.
Okay, it's like always for us a little bit lag. Okay, so thank you who joined. I am Algirdas, and we are all how we call it, Oliver?
BurstBusters.
BurstBusters.
BurstBusters, yeah, like Ghostbusters. Hey, who are you gonna call? Yeah.
Okay, here is Oliver, our leader, and maybe Zok will say his name. I know how to call him, but what is his name? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a harsh name. It's Homulutsa.
Homulutsa.
Yeah, Tsa is the last name, so it's Homulutsa.
Homul.
Yeah, no one can do it. So
I can. I know that.
yeah. Oliver trained it a lot, so he's now able to say it.
Yeah. I used to 70 hours hackathon just to train your name. It's like talk that way. Okay.
Let's try. I will share my screen. I like always. A few months ago I created this token LBT. It is let's how it's called. I don't know how to spell it. Let's look. I will share screen with Explorer, and we will see what is this description. See, here you can see our Explorer. Let's find LBT. We have let's talk about Burst. But why it's LBT? I miss a talk. Okay. So I created this token. So please enter to YouTube chat your Burst address, and I will send you this token, and you can exchange it. I will create. I will share that now. I will create here a buy order. Here you can see somebody is buying these tokens for 2 bursts, but I don't know for how much I will buy it. Maybe 500 bursts. I will see. So just write your address to YouTube chat, and after stream I will send it. Sorry, last time I don't send it because it's disappeared this chat after stream. But now there is some person who looks to it, and I will send it for sure. So, okay. Maybe Oliver, you can start.
So we have some awesome news here. We three here, Shifa, Zok, and me, we participated on the World Blockchain Hackathon last weekend. So just share my screen rapidly to have an idea what is it, and all that. Let me see, share screen, green button. So it's that here, share. So this was the event here, the Babylon project. There is a kind of final prize of $100,000. Well, let's see. Yeah, and we were elected to the top 20 teams. So there were a kind of, I think there were 2,400 inscriptions, more than 1,000 applicants, and then later almost 100 teams, and finally 44 submissions. We were one of them, and yesterday we received the message, the news that we are among the top 20. Right after this stream, we will have the pitch deck to present our project in 4 or 5 minutes. But for you here, more or less exclusively, I want to go through the project a little bit and talk a little bit what it is. Wait, let me see what I'm showing here. So I'm already working on the pitch deck here a little bit. Yeah, what we are doing, what we have done so far is a voting system, a polling system on top of the Burst blockchain. So we have an anonymous, secret, transparent, cheap, and scalable voting system. So the scalable, maybe we can discuss it a little bit later. But the idea is really that we use the features, the native features of the Burst blockchain, like encrypted messaging and all the things to no smart contracts in that place here, just saying that. But that we can that we having a polling system, a voting system, which allows us exactly to have this kind of attributes for that. So anonymous is like when somebody's voting, he's never ever sending some personal information to somewhere, so nobody's able to see that. We have the question for eligibility of voters. If we think of permissive campaigns like national elections, secret means that we are voting with peer-to-peer encryption, which is the inbuilt encryption for the Burst blockchain. Transparent means that after the election is over, that the secret for the receiving account, so there's like a voter sends a peer-to-peer message to a dedicated voting account. And after the election, the idea is that the voting account is like disclosing his passphrase or his private key on the blockchain. This means that everybody then can get this message and can read out the votings. And in the votes, as I said, there is no personal information to see who's behind that account. Cheap? Now, I think everybody who knows Burst blockchain knows that it's cheap. It's cheap in terms of fees. It's cheap in terms of maintain the entire network compared to others. It's cheap in terms of mining because we are hard drive mining, the proof of capacity stuff. And as it's an open source project, it's even, when we talk about scalability, it's even possible that we can, volunteer citizens, for example, can run their own mining node and all that they have a decentralized infrastructure scaling up onto a certain limit. If we think of the public mainnet, we are kind of limited by block time and block size. But if we have kind of a dedicated fork of that, we could even scale out in millions of transactions per day. So this is the idea behind all that. Interesting, more like technically, I would like to show how we started to plan the entire flow, how it works. And we separated the entire system in 3 parts. So the first thing was like we have a kind of eligibility service, which is from the decentralization perspective is kind of problematic, of course. So we have to trust to some extent, the eligibility authority that we call that. So they have a kind of a database of hashes, which represents eligible voters. And once a person signs up, so there will be a lookup in the eligibility database to see if that person is eligible for voting. But this is restricted only to this kind of, when we think of democratic elections, that we need to guarantee that only eligible citizen votes. This is for that part, but we can think of a public voting or polling system like smaller campaigns, making, think of it like Doodle or kind of other polling systems, then we don't even need this kind of eligibility when we have a really open and very decentralized voting. But this is just to restrict the group of voters in case it's necessary. For people who are already knowing about the Burst blockchain, knows that an account has to be activated. And we're doing this with this kind of eligibility authority. It's like you're creating an account and then you're receiving a message that you're eligible, and then you have even received kind of voting token. We can say that like that way so that they can vote. This is the part which is marked green. We have done this. Then there is a second step later is when we are revealing the vote or the passphrase, which is going to the blockchain then. This part is done also. We haven't done the, no, it's a published passphrase, we haven't done that like that, but we have the voting, getting the voting stuff, and this is the next step we're doing. And the most important part is from the voter's perspective, that we start with an interface. There's kind of personal data, which will be hashed then. And after it's hashed, it will be generated a passphrase with a kind of a random salt there. That passphrase is nothing that the voter needs to keep in mind something. There will be kind of a recovery step, like people knows already from the from the wallets, when you can use the passphrase to re-import your account. There will be kind of verification between if this account already exists, because we're kind of having some initial information here. So okay, later. Then there's this step with the register for the case it needs to be eligible, and then he gets back a vote, an activation message, which is going here inside the blockchain, and later on we can see that. With the voting message, there are kind of activation message. There are kind of information about the available options to vote on. And yeah, this is the step we're going on. This is like the eligibility. We create a PIN. This will be used later to use the PIN, the vote. I will show this in a visual manner a little bit better, but it's the entire flow that you can see here. When we are ready for voting, we send the encrypted vote. And the vote is like, as I said already, strongly encrypted. So no one can see the vote during the election. And when the election period is over, then it's like here, end of election, we're going to publish the passphrase to the blockchain such that everybody can iterate over the blockchain and making, kind of auditing the results. So this is how we keep secret voting and transparency in the same place. So when we go into the, where is it? The vote, let's see it. So this is our front end right now. The problem is that I need to remember which were the dates of the eligible person. I can't remember exactly. I think I will fail epically here. Let me think. So we have kind of mocked information here that we select, for example, some personal information like a national identification number. This could be in Brazil, it would be kind of the título eleitoral, or there will be a social security number or other things in other countries. Then there's kind of date of birth. We thought initially that the information is sufficient to generate a hash on that. And let me see if I can do that. So I'll go the 1st of March, for example. I'm not sure if it's that one, and I put here the number. Of course, there's another one. I will confirm that. I sent that, then it's checking the eligibility. And he said that I'm not eligible right now. Yeah, I expected that somehow, but let me see. I'm showing here's the activated account. Let me see if it's, yeah, I will remove that. You see that this is a hash here? This hash is actually a hash on top of the public key of the account. I will remove that. And then we have eligible voters. So I selected that one here. As you can see, there's even another hash. It's a SHA-3 hash we are using here. This is the hash of, built up on the personal information that will be sent by the, oh no, it's not that. This will be sent by the voter then. So there's no way to identify a person. This is one of the most crucial things we have here. I would try it again. So I go back and try to being eligible right now. I hope that this is today. I'm not sure. Can you remember which were the 91? I think it was like that. Confirm. Let me see. Please pass. I'm not.
No.
Can you remember which was the date? I can't remember the date.
Yeah, it was. Let me get here.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are just mocked info that we have. In a real life scenario, the user would input his information, and the hash will be shared with the eligibility authority that will have the hash in its side as well. Let me see here if I can find the.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, Oliver, please explain what is activation, what is in Burst blockchain, why we need activation, and what is this?
Yeah, okay. It is like when you create an account on your wallet, like Phoenix or Hot Wallet or all that stuff, then your account is not now to the blockchain until this step. It's just like it's created locally or somewhere which is not recognized by the blockchain because you don't have you haven't made any transaction yet. So there is a kind of you have already your passphrase. It's okay. You have already your set of keys. But as you haven't done any activation or any transaction so you're not inside the blockchain ledger. So there's no information about you. And we usually that is like that you ask, and there's a problem of that you don't have any burst yet to do any transaction because transactions need have some cost, like a low fee. But if you don't have Burst yet, you cannot do anything. So you cannot do any transaction. So you're in kind of a stuck situation. And that therefore, we have two kinds of methods that we can help people to get out of this hole. This is one is the so-called faucet, where you can ask for a very small amount of Burst, and you will receive that. And we have another process, which is the called activation process. And this one is even that it sends you a specific message, which can even have some Burst. It has to have some Burst, actually, such that you no, wait, it's not exactly that. It can be just a message with a public key of your account and activating you that the blockchain knows that you exist. And in that moment, when your account is known, somebody can securely transfer money to you. We can combine that we can transfer money and even some message and the public key together. And when in this kind of situation, we have all the conditions that your account is being activated, and then you can really interact with the blockchain. This is a security mechanism. This avoids us to spam, for example, accounts and all of that. So this is practically this mechanism we use for the eligibility stuff. And we're even attaching some information about the options we have for voting. I hope Zog has already found some data.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct. So the date of birth would be, let's get one for 1994. So it would be 4th of June. So 4th of June, 1994. And the ID is number 4.
Whoa. Okay, Houston, we have an issue. Okay, this is
maybe backend service not running.
Yeah, it could be so. Yeah, well, but we can say that we have a video on that, so I don't want to lose some time on that because they just mounted the entire environment just a few minutes before. Let me see that YouTube. It's like my daughter looking kind of weird stuff. So
Yeah, we will pretend we believe it's our daughters.
Now you see that I'm doing repeating the step. So eligible for voting. This pin is the same mechanism we use in the Phoenix wallet and others. It's like that we use that like a easy to remember pin to secretly encrypt our passphrase because we use the passphrase
under the hood. Yeah, under the hood, the passphrase was generated, and then the pin used to encrypt it. So everything is happening without the user interference because we think that election must need some dummy users.
Yes, now I'm not. Hang on, let me turn off my TV because it's being too loud.
So you see that we have the options here already, and that options are being delivered with the activation message. So it's all transparent. So every voting account will receive almost the same message. This could be even used for kind of validation so that there's nobody who's trying, for example, to inject other options. If we think this is candidate 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that, this is even a mechanism to validate what is the stuff. It's just confirming the vote right now, confirming. And that's all. Yeah, and this is what the entire voting process is. This is very, very simple. So the next step we're doing is like that we're making the audit stuff, that we're publishing the passphrase, and then making a dashboard, such we can even make a live scanning of the entire blockchain to see how the election, how many people vote, but not revealing the information right now because we cannot see which one was voted. But then afterwards, once the passphrase is published, we can do that. And as we said, we are part of the finalists in the in the blockchain world blockchain hackathon. And this is an honor for us. And let's see, we have to pitch in almost, I think it's on 1:30 in 1 hour. We have to start pitching that.
Oliver, we have some questions from chat.
Yeah.
So Nivok is asking, what kind of personal data is gathered?
What kind of personal data is what?
Gathered, collected.
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay.
Absolutely nothing, because that's what you enter in the front end, the date of birth and the identifying number. There will be hashed using SHA-3, and this hash will be sent later as a request for eligibility to the eligibility authority. So the authority has a central database, yes, and I show this here. But you see, there's nothing more than that. This is everything they see. It's like this would be somebody who was born on 1st of January and has the number 0, something like that. In that way, we will mock data, as we said that. And but nobody can even revert this hashes as it is a hash. And so it's not possible to trace back to persons, to individuals. We don't see any way to do that. We have
Yes.
activated accounts here, which which are not here right now, but there's like a hash of the public key. So what we think is, if we think on the larger scale, like a governmental stuff, it's like that list must be created somehow. Yes, I agree on that. So if we are thinking a little bit in true democratic systems, they have a kind of a central register of all citizens, and there's kind of an authority that is creating that list. Then maybe there's the eligibility authority, which must be kind of decoupled from that one, that they have only received that list and don't have any idea how to track that down. This is even the weak point of the system, because we rely on a central authority that created the list of eligible voters. We know that this is the weak point, but this is we don't have any solution for it yet right now. We are thinking of it's possible to use zero knowledge proof, but I don't know too much
Sorry,
about that.
Oliver,
Possible.
Sorry, Oliver, I interrupt you, but I think governments will need to have this authority. I mean, I think to validate its citizen that he is eligible or not. I think governments will want this power to have.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
but no, I guess our clients is governments. Yes,
kind of. But as I see, we can even have elections on minor scale, like polling for a public polling. Like if we can use it even as a polling system for the Burst community when we decide on some things. Like and this is public to everyone who is part of the Burst community. So we don't even need a kind of eligibility authority in that case. We can, this is an idea I have already, that to make it public voting. I mean, public voting means, and there will be kind of a permissive voting because of the eligibility questions. Because for democratic systems, they need to guarantee that they have eligible voters. We in nowadays mindset, I need to wrap around.
There are also other use cases. Let's say for a union, workers' union, for example, in Brazil. There are lots of workers' union that needs to do some types of gathering of people to vote in a proposition or something like that. So all this is usually very, very hard to audit. I mean, people don't always trust the union workers director board. So sometimes they do this voting and the results come out, but people don't really know if the results are real. So this is a type of solution for this as well. You can imagine all type of democratic decision making that relies on voting now can be transparent and audited by anyone interested. So even journalists that didn't even took part on the voting process could audit the system and make sure that the disclosed results are real, and this is the overall intention behind this.
I like this option that person voter can check does his vote is counted, maybe it was used few times or etc. It is counted or not counted.
Yeah,
he can audit.
Yeah. There's one point we haven't talked about that. If we scale that.
Okay, Oliver, please. We have our question about this.
Okay.
Holger, Holger is asking. I don't know how to spell it. How to say it. can it scale to handle American elections?
Oh, yeah, this is a very important question. The public blockchain, the mainnet of Burst coin, is not cannot do that because we are limited to block time and block size. But if we make, as it is an open source project, and if we make a fork, for example, a dedicated fork for a voting election campaign, then it can be set up and it can spread in. And this is interesting. This is even something that I wanted to mention, is that volunteer election helpers, they can run their own nodes in their home, because we have a very little technical requirement. We know that from the Burstcoin community. We know that just a hard drive. It hasn't to be like a huge mining rig, and then it can be spread all over the entire nation. And using the block time and the block size stuff, if we increase the block size, we can transmit more, we can handle more transactions. And if we reduce the block time, we can even scale it up. And if it's not even if becoming a kind of limits where we can't work on that anymore, you can even think of break a huge nation in parts and say, okay, the northern region will vote on that blockchain system, and the other will have a parallel blockchain, and then later you can like consolidate the information. This is how you could scale up. This is our idea on that. So theoretically, yes, it's possible to make nationwide elections even for current countries like Brazil, India, or United States.
So, Tamara, hello. Sorry,
I think I think Pam should talk a little bit about the hackathon. Maybe this could be interesting.
Oh no, it wasn't that. I was just saying, like, part of the stuff that I do sometimes, as I usually don't like mentioning that I do focus a lot on politics. So when you guys surprised me with a voting system, I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is something that I could bring about. I don't know that this is something that we could do right away, because politics in the United States take a very long time to make changes. However, this is something that maybe we could look at in the next maybe 2, 3, maybe 4 elections. However, it's something that I could bring about, because like from the beginning, like I've been to like different meetings and I've talked to different people within politics about, how can we help homeless communities through Burst? How is it that we can bring small hard drives to homeless people and reduce the amount of waste that goes on, with like payment systems, and bring about additional payments to parks and recreation, given the fact that we are eco-friendly. So it's something that I always look at. It's something, so yes, you guys totally surprised me with what you're working on. But yeah, I'm totally like happy that you guys have made it to the top 20. And apparently now there's a limited number of judges, and Tamara may not be one of the judges for this last part.
Okay.
I hate talking about myself on the on the third person. No, but I messaged someone just now saying, "Oh my gosh, I was just told." So, like, if anything gets canceled, then I will be a judge. But if I'm not, then I seriously hope that the odds are ever in your favor, because like I was looking at different projects, not just Burst. It's like you think about like the top 5 projects that could work out. In the voting system, there was another project that wanted to do that, didn't do it. There was a crime reporting one. There was a financial one. Like they were extremely innovative things. However, they have some that are slightly intrusive. I'm very much about privacy. And some felt slightly intrusive, which is what I loved about the voting system. That it was like, okay, you put your number, you put your ID, you do this. And it was so simple that my parents could do it.
Yeah.
And I always look at like applications that you guys develop. It's like, okay, is this something that I can actually explain to my mom and dad? If I can get it down to the point that they can get it, my dad knows about cryptocurrency now, and he's 87 years old, and he gets it
Nice.
now. And it's like it's taken the last 2 years, but he gets it. And whenever he sees like Bitcoin machines and things like that, he's like, "Hey, I found this at the mall, pre-pandemic." But it's just kind of cool, and that's kind of how you intertwine different generations in how you bring about cryptocurrencies. And what you guys did was totally amazing, and I do love the fact that at the very least I got us there, I guess, somehow. I did get other teams there just because, how do we work with
Yeah.
other people?
Tam, let me ask you something. It's somebody's asking the pitching session we will have in a few minutes. This view built by the public? Do you know that, or it's just like internal for the top 20 teams and the judges?
I believe that it's supposed to be on Sapien, and then it's also supposed to be available to the public.
Yeah, maybe we should inform the community if they have a kind of a link for that they can watch this. Would be cool. There's somebody who's interested to assist.
I will find out.
Okay,
yes,
cool.
Yes, I will find out to see how people can watch it. And I do believe that it's going to be available through Discord. So initially, team members are supposed to go through Sapien and then say what they're going to be pitching. And then afterwards, it's going to be available through Discord.
Yeah. So the session starts in about 1.5 hours, if I'm not wrong. Is it right, Tam?
10:30. 10:30. So right now it's 8:36.
Pacific time, yeah. So
yes,
we have here another time.
My time.
And Schiffers is almost going to bed right now.
No. It's a good time for me now.
I just want to say thank you so very much for all your hard work, because this is something that just like brings about what you guys do.
Yeah, it was, but I have to thank you because you brought it up. You said that there's a hackathon, and I never intended to work on a hackathon, something like that. And it was really cool that my coworker or Zach, he entered, and a very, very useful insights, and the whole team worked very hard in a very cool manner. So it was pretty good. We almost reached our goal, and this was cool. Schiffers. This was kind of funny because when I was still coding in the morning, like 3 o'clock in the morning, Schiffers jumped on and said, "How I just woke up and I can help you right now. So what I have to do it." So we made a hand over, and he started working on things while we gonna sleep, and they were like 6 hours sleeping, and then turning back to the computer and coding. This was like really, really nice working with the time zone and all that. It was kind of challenging, but it worked out very, very good. Cool team. Yeah. Congrats to you guys.
Did you guys have to have a lot of coffee though?
Yeah.
It's my kind of coffee.
Oh gosh, no, I remember when you told me about like the talk that I was doing with the storage community, and you were like, just have a beer and go with it. Yeah. I was like, I don't know if I want to have a beer just yet.
I don't know, maybe Oliver, we can show some code with some bootstrapping, block forking, or no need.
I think we don't need to do that. I'm not sure if the people are really interested.
Yeah,
to
so
see code.
I think we are interested in this, not other people.
Yeah, no, I think it's not worth it showing code. It's fine. The code is public source. It's designed. We can even, if somebody wants to review that, it's all open source. It's all about that. We have this bvodal GitHub stuff there. I will see if I find the link right now. Let me see. Wow, bvodal. GitHub BurstBusters bvodal. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, we can look into other hackathons and other projects. However, there are very many interesting things going on, and I'm just kind of trying to put us out there to the best of my ability. So if we can continue to work together, because Burst is such an amazing cryptocurrency, and if however we can interact with other communities, it's going to be amazing because I think it's going to be something that it's going to push Burst to become even stronger. And now I'm just like, holy crap, I got you guys to work together in different time zones.
Uh,
What a short little girl can do.
So, nevertheless, if we're not winning anything on the hackathon, we already won. I think so. I'm not sure if there is money involved in that moment, but this is kind of project we will push further and bring to the Burst community, like making a kind of a little bit more refinement on that. It's still an MVP we have right now, but I think it's a vital tool that we can. This is useful not only for Burst community, and one of the main purposes was participating on the hackathon is like showing others what's possible besides Ethereum and all the other popular blockchain stuff.
Yeah.
We know internally that Burst has difficulties right now, and we do everything.
However,
just like
we have
better.
low energy consumption. And
Yeah.
as you know, Oliver, I'm already working with several countries within Latin America. So I'm moving along the lines. I just kind of keep on moving while I'm doing something. I'm already working on something else.
Yeah.
So yes, we have additional projects and to inclusion and additional exchanges and perhaps banks. So yes, so like there's more to come. Sorry, not sorry. I'm just like now I'm just kind of like I'm gonna do exactly what I wanted to do from the
Cool.
beginning.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we showed what we want to show, and no questions in chat, I see.
Chef,
Okay.
I would like
Okay.
to encourage people to take part on this type of events. I'm fairly new to the Burst ecosystem and environments, but I was able to get started really nicely. I mean, it was very straightforward. The hackathon was very fun. It was an honor to work with you and with Oliver. I was very happy to get to work with you guys, and I learned a lot. I had a lots of fun. And as Oliver mentioned, to get to the second phase, it was really happy, and it's really exciting. But even if we did not, I was still feeling that our mission was accomplished. You see, I wanted
I'm
to
hoping that you guys do. And now, like, it's still questionable whether I'm gonna be told whether I am or not. So, if I'm not, and you guys win, then that's an affirmation of how awesome, like, all the work that you guys have done is. And that almost, like, in a way, as an impartial judge now, it makes me feel so much better because then that means this is something that makes sense and other people are now starting to look at it. And initially that was the entire thing. Hey, it doesn't matter. Let's
Yeah.
just have people look at this.
Yes, yes, and it's cool because it's a project that differs a little bit of the financial system, and we actually did it in 2 and something days. Like we had pretty much nothing once we got started with it, so it was a really cool team effort, and time zone availability was really cool as well. So thanks for
Yeah,
having me,
well,
guys, and
to me, it was like I had no idea what you guys were gonna work on because I was like, hey, maybe this, maybe that. And then it was like, okay, this is what we pulled through. And I was like, holy crap, holy crap. Pardon my, not my French, pardon my fucking language, even though I swear all the time. But I was like, this is so cool. This is like what you guys did was so cool. I have much bigger ideas because, again, I always look at the larger picture. But the amazing thing is that we got here and you guys made it to the top 20. And I seriously do hope that you make it to the top 5.
yeah,
I
so
mean,
proud.
you can look at the other videos. You can
I
look at
haven't, I haven't, I haven't, I haven't, I haven't. I
That's a
had the
good
time
one.
to look at that. I look in some of the other projects, and they're cool ideas. I think it's cool, but it's impressive how the funnel worked out. It's like so many applicants and so many participants, and there's so many teams. And after there was only such a bunch of submissions, and finally we made it on the first half. And now let's see if we can make top 10 or top 5. I don't know. It depends on the quality of the other contributions, but it was very fun for that.
yeah, and the thing is that a lot of people, like some people didn't come through. Some people like thought that they were gonna be able to finish, and some of them are even looking into, okay, how do I go on from here? So it's a totally interesting community, and I absolutely love the experience as doing this because it just, it continues to grow. Okay, how do we interact with other communities? And like I always say, there's enough of a pie that you can share it because we may not have all of the solutions at this time. However, working together, we can bring about those solutions. And I may not like all of the solutions because I can be partial to certain currencies, or like I'm kind of like I kind of question certain levels of governance and things like that, but some people need that. So I always like I given my whole aspect that I've worked, that I've worked with politics and stuff like that, and I look at the law, it's like, how does lady justice work? Okay, yes, maybe this doesn't make sense to me, but it may make sense to someone else, and it may work for someone else. So it's just kind of one of those things. And there's enough of the pie to share with everyone. However, and I
okay.
whispered, but yeah,
Yeah.
get ready and do whatever you guys need to do, and
Yeah.
then we can just
And,
keep on
and then
working.
and this is what we have to do right now. So we need to review our pitch deck right now, so we can be prepared. And I need to train a little bit because I'm kind of nervous
Yes,
then and have to
and
present that. So Shifas, I think I would like to drop here
yes,
because
yes,
I'm starting to be
and
nervous. It's like the same thing I had 10 minutes before the submission. So for everybody who knows, it was like submission deadline was on on Sunday midnight
oh,
Pacific
and
time.
then someone asked me if it was at noon. So then I'm like freaking out, like almost telling everyone, oh my gosh, it's noon. And then I
Yeah.
almost gave you a heart attack.
Yeah, and we were very good on our timeline, but then I started to being very tired and exhausted, and I tried. I don't know how many times I tried to record the video, but it was like finally I did it, and we delivered it 10 minutes before deadline. It was like whoa.
No, but did you know that afterwards, if you didn't submit
They
your
extended
video,
1 hour. I knew that. I knew that later. It's like wow, I had even 1 more hour to do that. Yeah.
well, but I mean, I really like tried my hardest to make sure that you guys got accepted, that everything went through, that everything was fine with everything that was introduced on my behalf. I even connected other teams with other individuals as a mentor because some people were looking for different developers and things like that. So like I really participated to the best of my ability to make sure that that this doesn't just stay here.
Okay.
So let's see
Thank
what's coming
you.
out of that. I think we will have some context to the hacker, to the guys there over, and it's really important. You said that we need to connect a little bit the community. I know we have the pirate chain community already interacting with that on the BTDEX stuff, which is pretty cool. And I think the entire community should work
I
on that,
need
like
to
connecting
find
with other ones.
my pirate shirt. I really do need to find it. Like I was seriously like I
That's
put it
not my responsibility. There's somebody out there who had to do that.
but yes,
Okay.
I am looking forward to doing other conferences as
Yeah.
but yes, right now focus on what's at stake, and then we can continue to talk about everything else. But I do really appreciate all of your work. Like, oh my gosh, you guys are amazing. And I'm so proud to even be part of this chat
Cool.
because like
Thank you.
this
Thank
was
you.
just this is part of like a my idea, like how
Yeah.
can we make this better, how. And it's not just that, but it's about like it's always about like helping third world countries and helping things, and just how Burst and whatever other cryptocurrencies but Burst do these things. And I just absolutely love and appreciate
Cool.
everything that you guys did. But I will let you guys go now.
Okay, we have to.
Yes, go to business.
Time's running out. Time's running out.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
many kind words.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Thank you,
okay.
everyone.
No,
Thank you.
thank
I'm
you so
stopping.
very much.
So
I'm
for the audience there, so any questions about the project and other things about Burst, don't hesitate. Enter, just try to contact us, leave comments on the video streams, whatever, Reddit, Discord. Yeah, it's all. So let's work together and make the things
Telegram,
better.
they can reach out to me through Telegram, Twitter, what have you. Get involved. This is a decentralized community. Get involved. If you want to change, then you need to get involved. You can't just ask developers. You can't just ask people to do things for you. Like I always say, it's not about what Burst can do for you, but what do you want to do for Burst and the rest of the community?
Yeah, cool.
yes.
Nice
Okay.
words, fine words.
All
Okay.
right.
Finishing now.